Video Games Recon.
Hello and welcome. My name is Nate from Video Games Recon, and in this video we're going to be doing a beginner's guide to the video game Rust. Before we get started, I would just like to say I am in no way an expert on this game. However, I've been playing it for a few weeks now and I'm going to share with you what I have learnt thus far. So, without any further ado, let's do it to it. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we need to do is to decide where we're going to play, i.e. what server we're going to play on. My first piece of advice would be do not play on an official server if you have never played this game before, because you will join the server and you will basically just get pwned every 10 minutes or so. Some random will just come up and just shoot you and steal whatever small meager little resources you have gathered thus far. So my advice would be to find a PvE server, or at least a low populated PvP server. Okay, a PvE stands for player versus environment, so that means that other players cannot kill you. Okay, so the only thing that can kill you is the animals like the bears and wolves and what have you. And you can kill yourself obviously by like falling off a mountain or whatever, but people can't kill you, and it's a good place to learn like all the basics of how to play Rust, because you're not gonna get a lot of help on PvP servers, which stands for player versus player, by the way. Whereas on PvE servers, people bend over backwards to help you, and they can give you all sorts of resources and what have you. And yeah, they're generally helpful. Whereas learning on a PvP server, unless you get lucky and you come across like a couple of nice people, which is unlikely, basically, you know, it's not an ideal place to learn. Okay, this guide, however, is probably going to be based on the idea that you ignore my advice and play on a PvP server. If you do play on a PvP server, like I said, play on a low populated one, and you might still meet some semi-friendly people who might want to work together. Also, another thing, when you're joining a server, so like not an official server, it's a good idea to put /help in the chat, because that will pop up basically all the features for this specific server. Like there might be starter kits, for example. I don't know if the code's different for other things, but I think you put /kit and it'll give you a starter kit or whatever, which might have like a shack, some hatchets, you know, food, stuff like that. So that's always a good thing to do. This place, basically just Google Rust servers, and there's a bunch of, you know, different websites with all sorts of Rust servers on. But as you can see here, I think this is one of the ones that I'm actually playing now as a PvE, just to like practice and use for making videos and stuff. So yeah, PvE. No sleepers also means when you go to sleep, you can't be killed and have all your stuff nicked. So when you sleep, you just sort of disappear. The reason why you don't get that a lot on PvP servers is because people can combat log, and basically if you're starting to lose a firefight, you can just quit out of the game, and you know you haven't lost anything. But that tends to piss people off, so that's why it's not in PvP servers quite a lot. So yeah, that's that. The next thing is basically location. Okay, first of all, you're going to get lost in Rust all the time for a long while. I still get lost now from occasion to occasion. It's quite confusing, and basically unless you're near like a town or drop spot, whatever you want to call it, you know, there aren't many landmarks to go off or whatever, because everything looks similar. So another good idea is to go to rustnuts.com, and basically you can pair it with your Steam ID or whatever. I don't know how it works, some internet magic. Yeah, what happens is basically it tracks wherever you are. It doesn't work on all servers, it must be on an auto location server, and I don't know how you find out what's what unless it says it in the specifics of like a server when you click on it or something. So unless it says it, you know, in the information, yeah, I don't know how you know. So aside from like checking, this has been down for me quite a bit recently. I don't know whether it's on my end or whether it's been happening to other people or whatever, but yeah, this is definitely super helpful for knowing where you are. And as I was talking about location, that's another extremely important thing for a beginner, because where you set up shop is extremely important in this area. For example, when you're starting off, you'll probably want to put your like house or your base or whatever near the road, because it's one of the easiest like landmarks to obviously follow and know where you are. Because if you always get lost, you can just hit the road and just keep running around. But because of this, everybody is on the road quite a lot, and a lot of traffic means a lot of, like, you know, bandits coming up and just mugging you, and yeah, so it's not great. So what I would do is, if you were just beginning, you probably will want to go near somewhere near the road, just so you don't get lost, just for your first few times. So basically you need to find a place that has good resource fields. Okay, so it's got to have wood. You need a place that's going to have good wood piles, good ores, like metal ores or stone piles, whatever you want to call them, and animals to kill so you can get meat and what have you. Also, you want to pick an area that's not too populated, because, you know, not all of your neighbours will be friendly. In fact, you'll be lucky if you find any that are friendly. So, you know, location is always a good thing. Once you know the map a little better, I would find some good places to go, like Hacker Valley can be quite good. Like, don't go too far out or whatever, but once you know what you're doing, there's like a good resource field over here. There's other good places. I think Resource Coast is a good one, like this forest or whatever, places like that. Another good thing is to go on the coasts and hide in on the coasts. You can also hide in on the mountains, like for example the mountains by Hacker Valley and what have you, or some of these mountains, but the ones inland in this road ring are probably more populated, so you want to be careful of that. But other good places, like hitting the coast, like hiding it in the mountainous regions in the coasts, quite a good idea. And another thing, back up towards the Hacker Valley area on this coast as well, is another good idea. The good thing about going by the coast is, if you get lost, say for example you know that your place is vaguely around here, even if you're like way up here, if you just find the coast, you can literally just follow it back and you will always find home. And the same goes for this coast or whatever. Also, just because this place is called Hacker Valley, it has no more or less hackers than anywhere else. So yeah, keep that in mind. Another thing to say is, probably not a good idea to build next to someone who's got a massive like tower or building. It's kind of an obvious one, but yeah, probably not a good idea in general. Also, it's probably not a good idea to build next to loads of new starters as well, because they might, because it's probably worth their while to rob you because they haven't got a lot themselves. Whereas a big player, they won't want to rob you to steal your stuff. They'll just want to like get rid of you because you're competition, and they don't want you stealing their resources for when they go out farming and what have you. So yeah, so that's that. And now we're going to get into the game and discuss yeah, like where we go from here, like crafting and what have you. And the first port of call is pretty much building a hatchet. So let's get onto that. Okay, so now we're in game. Our first decision to make is whether to go for broke or to craft and start building things. Now, there's two different potential philosophies here. If you've got nothing to lose, basically, as you'll see right now in my hotbar, this is what you start with. You start with a rock, 3 bandages and a torch. That is on normal servers. Like I said, on certain servers that have starter kits and whatever, you might start with extra. But on a regular official server, you will start with that's it, just what you've got in the hotbar. and nothing in your inventory. So you don't really have anything to lose at this point. So if someone kills you, you'll just spawn again and you won't have lost anything, because you never had anything to lose. So one thing you can do is you can just run into one of the towns and just look for loot, because you like I said, you got nothing to lose, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So you can run into one of the towns and open some boxes and see what you get, and maybe if you're lucky you'll find some nice goodies. You might even find a gun if you're really lucky, and you can then take those goodies, leg it off into the rocks or whatever where there's no people, and start building your hut. And like I said, so if you get killed, there's nothing to lose there, but there's also quite a high chance you'll get killed quite a lot. So it's a bit of a toss up as to what you want to do there. So the thing that you want to do even after that, or instead of that, is craft. Okay, and the first thing we need to craft is a stone hatchet, because the rock is just pretty rubbish. It's basically a pile of shit. I mean, it's not that bad for killing people, because actually technically it's stronger than the stone hatchet, but it's quite slow and it's really shit for resources. So the first thing we want to do is build a stone hatchet, and to do that we have to gather some resources. So first, before we go gather some resources, I just want to say that I'm on a PvE server right now, so no one can hurt me. There might be things popping up in the chat, just ignore that. And in my inventory I have put some things, some food, just in case, just for the sake of this video, a gun, basically in case it gets dark and I need to put the light on, because the torch is good, but it does run out. And yeah, my armor or whatever, I've got that on just for cold and what have you, in case I don't think I will, but just in case I decide to run into a place with radiation, because these are my radiation suit. So yeah, but yeah, so first protocol is always building a stone hatchet, so let's go do that. Okay, so first port of call, like I said, building a stone hatchet. It's much better for gathering resources and whatever. So first thing you need to do is find a resource field. As you can see, this is a resource field. There is stone piles over there and wood piles dotted around as well. You have to be careful of these wolves, and of course you have to be careful at all times of players. Also, there are bears around which are quite tougher than wolves, but they're easier to lose. But there's no bears in this section, so that's not a thing. Also, when you can get quite close to the wolves, say within about, I don't know, 4 or so meters, but only when you're in stealth mode. If you're not in stealth mode and you run up to them, they're going to get pissed and they're going to chase you, and that's a problem. When basically right now I couldn't fight one with a rock, I'd probably die. I mean, you might be able to make it if you're a bit cunning, but yeah, you probably die. So what you want to do is you want to find an abandoned building, or basically any player made platform, because for some reason they can't go onto these platforms, and it's like den or whatever, like you play a game at school or whatever, where this is den, you can't get me. It kind of works that they can't get you on player made foundations. So yeah, if you're ever got one chasing you and you haven't got the weapons to fight them and you're fucked, just find a player made foundation. But also, if that foundation is occupied by someone, you might have some problems there. So yeah, so first things first, let's go get some freaking resources. Now you can get resources from trees, yeah, but they're pretty shit for wood. Okay, so you'll get like 1 wood. I think sometimes it'll even miss. Yeah, look, you see that it missed, and you get nothing. So you get 1 wood per hit, and sometimes it misses and you get shit. Also with the ignore that KZ coin thing, that's specific to this server. But yeah, you get like 2 at a time or whatever. But we don't need a great large amount at this moment to craft things. So let's find it. Where are we? So yeah, we need 5 stones and 10 wood. So we need to hit another stone pile or ore pile, whatever you want to call it, and 1 wood pile, and that should be enough. Also, I tend to find, I'm not sure if this is like definite, but I tend to find the different coloured stone piles or ore piles, like I said, I'm just going to call them stone piles from this point, just because I don't want to keep repeating myself. But yeah, the different colours, I think they give different amounts of ores. Like this one I think gives more sulphur. The dark shiny stone piles give more metal ores, and then the light shiny stone piles give more stone ore, I think. So something to keep in mind if you're trying to get a specific thing, like if you're trying to get gunpowder or you're trying to get metal, it's a good thing to keep in mind. So you see, look, from this wood pile you get 7 at a time. I don't think any of them miss, as opposed to a tree. So you get probably the same in 2 hits that you get from farming an entire tree. So yeah, wood piles are always better thing to go for. So yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, I put some bullets in my inventory, and just in case I didn't make it clear, you don't start with any armor. This is all completely off. And basically at night time, you see in fact here it says cold. At night time, if you haven't got any clothes, basically it gets cold, and when it gets cold you start draining food faster, and that is a problem because you don't start with any food, and it can be quite tricky to get it in the very beginning. So yeah, like if you haven't got any food or whatever, you're going to be in trouble. If your food count gets to 0, your health starts to tick down, and obviously then you can die. So when it gets colder, and if it's night time, and the night can crawl in definitely on your first day real fast. So if you haven't got any clothes, you haven't made any clothes by that point, which you're probably not likely to do, you're going to have to basically set up your campfire in like the rock, up in the rock formations, and just try and hide it from other people, because it shines, and obviously then they'll come for you and try and kill you. So anyway, let's craft a hatchet. So you just simply find it in your thing, click it and pick craft. It takes about 20 seconds normally. If you've got a workbench, obviously it takes faster, but you're not going to have a workbench by this point. So yeah, so just wait. Oh yeah, by the way, when it's crafting you can only walk, you can't run, so make sure you don't just craft when you're in a precarious position, because that could be a problem for you. So yeah, sweet, we've got a hatchet. Keep in mind, hatchets have durability, so the more you use it, the more it will wear down, whereas a stone doesn't. But you can see how fast it hits, and it basically mines the same amount, mines, whatever you want to call it, gathers the same amount as a thing, but faster. Like trees still only give one wood, whereas yeah, wood piles and stone piles, I'm not sure if, I think stone piles do give more. It doesn't look like it, maybe it doesn't, I'm not quite sure, but the speed with which it does it is definitely faster. And oh no, it's not, they give more when you've got a metal hatchet, sorry, not a stone hatchet, it's just faster. But trust me, when you're on a PvP server, you want the speed, because yeah, people, the amount of times I've got creeped up on when I'm farming and someone blows my brains out with a shotgun without me noticing, you know, it's quite often. So yeah, speed is definitely an advantage in this. More time you have to look out for bad guys, basically. So yeah, now we've made a stone hatchet. The next thing we need to do is food. We need to think about food, and we need to think about it desperately, because where on my screen the food's quite alright, yeah, because I've fed him some food and whatever. Yeah, I've got spare food, it's not really an issue. But you're not going to have that, yeah, and it ticks down a lot faster than you think, and night comes in a lot faster than you think, especially on the first day. So we need to get food. Now, don't try and get food or anything from wolves or bears, because you just don't have the weapons to do it yet. I mean, technically you could, but yeah, pain in the ass. So you want to get food from either pigs, as you can see there, a deer. There's a deer over there. You can even, I don't know if there's any about, you can get little rabbits and chickens. Now they give less. They're really easy to get though, but you know, they're not always very often easy to see. So one of the best things to get that gives the most resources is a pig, and is easiest to get. Deers are quite easy to get as well, but it's basically you hit them, they run off for shit miles really fast. You have to chase them, then you just creep on up them again, and you hit them, and then you chase. It's a bit like that. Whereas this one, you can sort of run along with them. You can sort of, you can't hit while you're running, but you can hit while you're walking. So you can sort of run up to him, hit him, and then walk along with him for a bit, and then run a bit and stuff like that. You have to be careful though not to run into wolves or bears or players when doing this. But yeah, that's something you can do. And he's dumb as shit. Look how much I can sneak up onto him and just twat him in the face. Yeah, he's not smart. So yeah, I can sort of just walk along with him, just keep kicking the crap out of him. There we go, beautiful. And now I can gather or mine the resources off it. So yeah, and we can get some food. So what have we got? We got 5 raw chicken breast. Got some fat, which is useful for making torches and stuff like that. I think you can make a furnace with it later. We've got cloth, which is important. We're going to need that later. So yeah, but food's first protocol. It's going to be raw. As you can see here, this is cooked food, cooked chicken breast or whatever. All the animals give off chicken breast, okay? I don't know why. It's kind of stupid. It's probably because it's like alpha state or whatever. But I think it's kind of a running joke now that, you know, because everything tastes like chicken and all that shit. So yeah, basically everything gives off chicken. You don't want to eat it raw, because if you eat it raw, it'll make you sick, and I think it takes your health down. I think it feeds you, puts your food up, but I think it brings your health down. So that's probably not great thing to do. So you need to cook it. So you basically, hey up, teleporting deer there. You need to craft a campfire, and then you need to put the food in the campfire and cook it. Okay, so yeah, we'll do that now, because I don't know, I'm not quite sure. I think we joined quite early. We probably have enough time to build a hut as well, but let's just build a campfire. It doesn't really matter where we build it because everything's safe. So we're going to build a campfire, we're going to put some food in it, and yeah, cook it. So it'll take a little while to cook. It doesn't take too long, but yeah, and everything pretty much takes about 20 seconds. A lot of the main basic things take about 20 seconds without a workbench. You could always, I think this works, I think you could, if there's an abandoned building and there's a workbench in there, you could always sneak up to that, and I think that will also help you build things faster. But yeah, so we've got a campfire, so let's put it in our hot bar, and then press the corresponding number on the hot bar, and it'll put it down. Then boom, so we put down our little fire. It costs 5 wood to make, but it comes with 5 wood in it, so technically if you take the wood out again, it costs nothing. So as you can see, there's cook slots, so we're going to put it in the cook slot, okay, and then we're going to hold down E, okay. That's something I didn't say before. Between opening and ignite, you can just press it and it'll do it, but you hold down E if it'll work. Yep. Yeah, so that's how you open it to put the food in, and as you can see, it will take a minute and it'll cook it, and then the food will appear here and it looks like this. Okay, so that's what happens. So that's basically how you get your food. Keep in mind though, this isn't too bad in the daytime. I mean, people would still, in a big wide open field like this, someone would still be able to see this quite easily. So at night time, if you haven't built your shack and you haven't put it in a shack to cover your shit away, you need to hide up in some little mountain region. Make sure there's as fewer lines of sight as possible, because otherwise you'll probably have somebody stumble up and just shotgun your face off or something. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Okay, so let's, no, it still hasn't cooked yet. Okay, well, let's go gather some wood and come back to that fire, and we'll see that things have been cooked. Because we want to gather some wood, because we want to build a shack, because we're going to need that for protection for nighttime and for people who are coming up to you. Now the shack is going to have a wooden door, okay, And wooden doors can be hacked down. I thought that was a wolf, and it's a wolf. That would not be a good idea. Yeah, so they can be hacked down. I think it takes 200 with a stone pickaxe and 150 with a a stone hatchet, and 150 with a metal hatchet to hack them down. It costs quite a few calories as well, because as you can see, it costs calories per swing. So yeah. So they can be knocked down. So you're not impenetrable inside your little wooden shack, but it's a sight better than being out in the open, because first of all you'll know that they're out there and that they're trying to get into your shack, and you can defend yourself and maybe fight your way out and what have you. So let's see, what do we need for a shack? It's been a little while since I built a shack. Where are we? Is it even called a shack? What do they call it? Where is it? There we go. Yeah, wood shelter, whatever. So it costs 50 wood. We've got more than enough for that. We need a wood door as well, so that's 30. Sweet. So that's more than enough. So let's go back to that fire, and I'm sure it's cooked some food by now, and then we'll put down a little wood, what do they call it? Wood hut, whatever they called it. We'll put down our shack, and yeah, and then we could maybe start crafting some other stuff. We could probably do with some other resources, but as you can see, night's starting to come in, crawl in. So yeah, so you can see the campfire just out there. You can see that little glowing dot, so it's not bad now, but at night time that thing's going to light up like a beacon. Also at night time, don't walk around with your torch out unless you absolutely have to, because yeah, you're going to be shining from miles away. People will take pot shots at you, because they probably, a lot of them will have weapons by this point. So, and some of them might have like M4s and sniper rifles, so they could pick you off at a distance. So, and you won't see them coming from a distance anyway. You'll only see them within, like, say 20 meters or so. So yeah, as you can see, all the food's cooked. It doesn't cost like 1 wood per cooked bit of meat. I think it costs half for wood. Yeah, we've took the wood out. It also gives us charcoal, which we can use for making gunpowder. We need to mix that with sulfur. You see we've got sulfur all there. We'll have to build a furnace and get all that sorted. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to quickly try find another ore thing. Maybe we'll be able to build something else, because otherwise, if you haven't got enough resources, it can be quite boring at night time. Yeah, like on your first day, because you've not got a lot of stuff to craft. It's hard to tell the difference between pigs and wolves sometimes, because you get some white wolves. So yeah, so we'll quickly mine some of that, and we'll run up into those. Look, there's a rabbit. So we'll quickly mine some of that, and we'll run up into those hills. We'll go be careful with that wolf. Get a bit close to him, because it's night creeps in and it's starting to get real close. And in a minute it'll be pitch bloody black. I mean, obviously I'm alright on this server because I've got a gun first and foremost, and it's a PvE server. So there's pretty much nothing to worry about, because, you know, people aren't going to kill me unless I stumble into a bear and I can't get my gun out fast enough. I don't really have a problem, but you most certainly will have problems, because people aren't always that friendly. Oh shit, see? Not paying attention. Yeah, you won't have that option, so definitely be careful. Quickly mine him, I don't know, I might need the fat for fuel for something later. And there's always the food. But yeah, you won't have that option, so you've got to be much more careful. And that is the temptation to get your torch out, but that's probably not something you want to do. So we're just going to quickly put our shack up. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe for more BS of a similar nature. Thank you and goodbye.